Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters. This is the 13th episode of the series, Who is Jesus Christ?, in which we are going to discuss the personality of Elias. And before we begin, I would like to point out that the word Elias in Arabic is Elia. Some of you might wonder why we are discussing this person called Elisha, as many of you do not know much about him. The answer is very simple. The fact becomes clear here that in the preceding event of John, for pious personalities have been mentioned. 1 Elia, who will be introduced and discussed in coming chapters. 2. That prophet, he has not been named out, because all know him. 3. Messiah, which means the anointed one. 4. One whose name has not been told. His specialties and qualities have been mentioned, viz. Christ. So when Christ appeared, up to the time of Christ, all Israelites and Jews used to discuss various qualities in general of the aforementioned personages, without particularizing each one of them. That is why the Christ had to face countless hardships. When he worked miracles, the majority of the public took him to be the universal leader who is to come in the last age. This misconception forced John to inquire from Christ, "Art thou he that should come, or do we look for another?" This is what we are going to discuss in today's episode, in order to avoid confusion about the identity of Christ. Let us start with a verse from the Bible. Now when John had heard in the prison the works of Christ, he sent 2 of his disciples, and said unto him, "Art thou he that should come, or do we look for another?" Jesus answered and said unto them, "Go and show John again those things which they do hear and see. The blind receive their sight, and the lame walk. The lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear. The dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. And blessed is he, whosoever shall not be offended in me." Matthew chapter 11 verses 2-6. He then refers to a verse from the Bible in which it is mentioned that Jesus went to the region of Caesarea Philippi. He asked his disciples, "Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" They said, "Some say that thou art John the Baptist, some, Elias, and others, Jeremias, or one of the prophets." This is mentioned in the same book, chapter 6, verses 13 and 14. My brothers and sisters, there is no doubt that John the Baptist is one of the greatest prophets of Allah, just as Elijah is also one of the greatest prophets of Allah. However, they were not the Messiah. We have already discussed the signs and characteristics of the Messiah in the previous episode. If you haven't seen that video yet, please do watch it after this one. I think that it would be better if we postpone the discussion of Christ until we have first discussed Elias. Therefore, in the next episode, we will discuss more about Elia. And if you notice that I haven't mentioned any verse from the Quran in this episode, it is because this great prophet, Sheikh al-Islam, may peace be upon him, has already discussed everything in detail in his book Al-Sahih, al-Bukhari, in the chapter entitled Adab al-Muqtadaf, which means the manners and etiquettes of the Muqtadaf. And since I am following his footsteps and quoting a lot of his thoughts in this series, therefore, I have refrained from mentioning any verse from the Quran in this episode. However, I would now like to mention something very important. As I have already mentioned earlier in this series, we are living in the last age. So who is that universal leader of this last age? Is he the Mahdi? Is he Christ? Or is he both the Mahdi and Christ? To know the answer to these questions and to know about the great deception that is going to take place at the end of time, you must watch this video. Lastly, I would like to thank all of you for watching this video and listening attentively to what I have said. I ask Allah Almighty to bless you all and to grant us all good understanding and to make us from those who happen to be rightly guided. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.